If you can't stand up and clap for Laken Riley's mother, I'm sorry, but we've got nothing to talk about. But that's what happened last night. That's the Democratic Party of today, and that's where we start tonight. Democrats couldn't clap for a little boy battling brain cancer. Democrats couldn't clap for peace in Ukraine. Democrats couldn't clap for victims of illegal immigrants. Democrats couldn't clap for protesting women in men's sports, and vice versa. They couldn't clap for ending waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. They did not clap for men playing in women's sports. Trump Deputy Chief of Staff Taylor Budowitz tweeting today, "I don't see how Republicans ever lose an election today." And normally, I would never agree with something like that. Never say never. But after last night, it's clear that we are dealing with a brand new Democratic Party. I didn't even realize this. And when I say new, not new in a good way. We're dealing with a group of anti-American, immature, really small people. People who think holding up signs that say things like false and Musk steals is the best way to win back voters. Caroline Levitt tweeting that Democrats reminded us that they are the party of insanity and hate. They couldn't even clap for a child battling cancer or a mother who lost her daughter. In every high school in America, there's always a table where the cool kids sit, the popular kids. It's always been this way. And all around that table are dozens of other tables filled with other really good kids. But then off in the distance, somewhere near the new gender-neutral bathroom, is always a table of people that don't quite fit in, a table of people who just aren't very nice, a table of people that other people don't want to be around. And that's what the world saw last night. If you can't stand up and clap for this little boy, forget about your politics. You might need to get checked for a heartbeat and a soul.
Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
Democrats didn't stand and clap for that, and Democrats didn't stand and clap for this either.
In 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. Tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
That little boy should have died 6 years ago, but he is still standing. But Democrats would not stand for him because they are just not good people. This show that you're watching right now, Finnerty, has more of what they call duplication with some of the other networks than any other show on Newsmax, meaning people who watch CNN and MSNBC are watching this right now. And they are watching us because they are tired of hearing this from the people that they once trusted on the other networks. Take a look.
I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump's supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
For the record, and this is disgusting, the president made a spectacle out of praising a young man who thus far survived pediatric cancer, as if the president had something to do with that.
On one side of the room last night, America was celebrating with the rest of America, but off in the distance was that other table that I mentioned before, completely on their own, completely out of touch, not just with the rest of the room, but with the rest of the country. And I say that because it's actually true. CBS, with a poll out today, 76% of Americans approved of Donald Trump's speech last night. But nothing Donald Trump said last night could possibly change that for the most out-of-touch group of people in that room, elected Democrats.
I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way.
Again, not all Democrats are like that, but the people leading the Democratic Party in Washington right now are not the right kind of people. The American people clearly voted for change in November, but these are not the people to get them there. 68% of America said Donald Trump's speech last night made them feel more hopeful last night. But not everyone felt that way. Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin, the rising star in the Democratic Party, who's been in the Senate for exactly 45 days, gave the Democratic response, and she immediately went back to a playbook that's not only tired, but it didn't work. Donald Trump won the election in November, and this is what we got last night.
President Trump loves to say peace through strength. That's actually a line he stole from Ronald Reagan. But let me tell you, after the spectacle that just took place in the Oval Office last week, Reagan must be rolling in his grave. Trump would have lost us the Cold War. Donald Trump's actions suggest that in his heart, he doesn't believe we're an exceptional nation. He clearly doesn't think we should lead the world. And I promise that I and my fellow Democrats will do everything in our power to be the principled leaders that you deserve.
There it is, right there. Did you catch it? We will do everything in our power to be the principled leaders that you deserve. That's a nice thing to say, but that's not what we saw last night, unless you meant starting right now, of course. We will do everything in our power to be the principled leaders that you deserve, starting right now. Because I seem to remember a Democrat standing up with a metal cane in his hand, jabbing it in the direction of the president and calling the president a liar. That's what I remember seeing last night from Democrats.
Small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded.
Mr. President.
A 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session. Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber. Go.
Never a dull moment. That has never happened before in American history, but I assume those must be the principled leaders that Alyssa Slotkin was talking about. She also claimed that Donald Trump doesn't think America is exceptional or great anymore, and I don't know how she missed it, but someone should probably remind Alyssa Slotkin that Donald Trump's slogan is literally and legally, "Make America Great Again." And Donald Trump gave what was probably the best speech of his night, his life, political life last night. But today, all we're talking about are Democrats, which is a very good sign for Donald Trump and a very bad sign for Democrats. Last night was embarrassing for Democrats, and it got worse when the president pointed this out.
We have ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good.
It's also important to point out that Donald Trump has only been president for 45 days. And traditionally, a president's first address to Congress is bipartisan because the president hasn't been in office that long, certainly not long enough to upset the other party that much. But that's never the case with Donald Trump. With Donald Trump, everything is different. Nothing is easy. Democrats didn't even clap when the president announced that the Department of Justice yesterday arrested a terrorist that was responsible for planning the car bomb that killed 13 Americans and 40 other people in Kabul, Afghanistan in 2021. Mohammed Sharifullah has not only been arrested, but he arrived in Texas this morning to stand trial. That is not a partisan issue. Those Americans were killed when Joe Biden was president, and their killer was just brought to justice, but somehow Democrats don't clap. But even then, Democrats could not forget about politics and clap. These are not good people. Nancy Pelosi, who did not look well last night, is not a good person. She is soulless, and she proved that last night. That's their leader. Last night, Donald Trump exposed a failing party for what they are: lost and leaderless, insignificant and tired and old. And I don't mean chronologically. I mean this whole act is old. A Quinnipiac poll out today found that 68% of Americans do not approve of the way Democrats in Congress are doing their job. And 76% of Americans approved of throwing Al Green, not the singer, out of the chamber last night. Numbers like that are not an accident. They are not a trend either. They are now a reality that Democrats will need to face. America loves Donald Trump right now more than they ever have before. In the past, if a Democratic president talked about supporting the military or law enforcement or a bipartisan issue, Republicans will stand up and clap. When the president walked into the room, every single time Joe Biden walked into that room to deliver a State of the Union, Republicans stood up and clapped. But Democrats couldn't even do that last night. When Donald Trump walked into the chamber, not a single Democrat stood up and clapped. So the message is clear now for Donald Trump. He can make America great again without them. The country's going to be better off without them anyway. And according to polling, it doesn't look like the rest of the country needs them either.